Hello! I am going to show you how to use a crimping tool and crimp beads. So to start, there's many different kinds of wire that you can crimp, and there's different sizes of crimps, there's different gauges of crimps, and there's different textures of crimps. So today I am using a nylon coated wire. It is 0.22 diameter and 7 strands inside a nylon coated wire. This is kind of like the standard one that I would use if it isn't going to be worn very roughly, but at the same time it's going to still hold up really well. So these crimps right here, if you look at them closely, they're a gold plate that have ridges on them. These ones grip really good, but maybe not look as nice as the smooth ones. And these ones are a copper plate, smooth. Actually, I think these are solid copper, but smooth. And these ones are silver smooth, as I dump them everywhere. But there's many different kinds, and they all come in most of the different types of metal. So I'm going to use a standard crimping tool today. There is a micro crimper, and there are crimpers for really large crimps too, but this is pretty standard. Okay, so if you look at the tool when it's closed, there is a crescent shape and an oval shape. So the crescent is where you start, and then you flip it to turn it, or you flip it to completely seal it around the wire, and that's what secures the crimps in place. You could just squish your crimps flat, but it doesn't hold as well. It could scratch or irritate your neck or your wrist or wherever you're putting it, your ankle. So I recommend using a crimping tool. It's going to hold better for sure. So if you don't have any beads already on your wire, as much as you can, try to line it up so that your index finger and thumb are below the crimp. And that way you can get a really flat crimp. You want everything to be lined up so that everything's at 90-degree angles and nice and clean. You don't want anything to turn sideways because the crimp will mush and it will get sharp edges that way too. So I find the index finger and thumb is a really great way to prevent that from happening. So what I do, I'll just show you this so you can get a visual. Okay, so you can see that I've flipped it, and in the crescent shape, I am resting the oval part, like the little groove section, right on the crimp. And then I line it up, always crimping this way so I can really see what I'm doing. But so you could see yourself, I'm going to just line it up and show you what it looks like. You squish. You can see it's got a little groove in it now. And then you just turn it so that when you bring it in the front oval, like so, and squish, it rounds it around the wire. So I'll use the smooth one for the next demo. This is a clasp. So say this is the end of your necklace. You would put your crimp on, wing it through the clasp, and back through the crimp. So it looks like this. Same idea. You want to hold it there so that it's in the smooth section. Squish it to make that little crescent shape. Turn it so that when you squish it in the front oval, it rounds around the wire. There you go. Now there's a couple handy tools that help make things look a little more professional and clean. This is a crimp bead cover. I use these often. I like them. There's different sizes, there's different types of metal, but these ones are kind of like the standard size that fit around these crimps. So what you do is you literally just place it on top of the crimp that you just did, like so, and then I just put it in the oval shape one, right where it's opened, like so, and squish it closed, and then it rounds around the crimp. I missed it because I'm trying to give a demo. Let me try that again. Which doesn't look that bad, actually. It'll just look like there's 2 metal beads at the end of the necklace. So now you can see it's covering the crimp. There's a little bit of a space between the wire and the clasp that now has an extra crimp on it. Excuse me. But ideally, you would have that much room that you would be able to slide in a crimp on there. So in a way, this wasn't really a bad mistake, because the reason you would want that much room between your clasp and your crimp cover is so that your clasp doesn't get stuck. See how this is kind of getting stuck? But if you had the size of that gap between, it would have lots of freedom to move around. And then when you're putting it on, it wouldn't be as awkward around your neck. There is also nylon coated wire covers. They protect the wire so that this space between the clasp and the crimp has the wire on it, and it doesn't wear out the wire. That's another really handy tool to have around if you're going to be making professional quality jewelry. So basically what you would do is put it in one side of the horseshoe, back through the other side of the horseshoe. Your clasp would rest in that before you would crimp it close, and it covers it up really nicely so that you don't have to worry about it wearing out, which is usually the first place that the necklace or the bracelet starts to wear out, is where the connectors are. Thanks for watching.